Howdy howdy, this is Blue Otter, and today we're going to be looking at Amber Isle. This is a cozy little game about dinosaurs and finding out who you are. So the game begins with this quick little introduction that showcases the adorable artwork that sets out that you are going out on a Paleoventure. The character creation allows you to choose from numerous options with both style and color of your character. You are also able to choose whether you are a female, a male, or a child, as well as naming your character. So the story begins where you are up in a hot air balloon ride as you're beginning your Paleoventure, and you decide to take a closer look at one of the villages below, and you fall out of the basket, landing in a store where we meet our first two characters who turn out to be the mayor and the courier of the town. And the mayor is not happy and is very upset with the fact that you have damaged the store, and it is just unforgivable, and he keeps asking for increasing amounts of amber, which is the currency in this game. So the mayor insists that you must repair the shop, and so this is where our friend Maple begins to help us learn how to collect materials, which is very simple. You just walk past materials and you automatically pick it up. And we craft some planks, and Maple will actually put them up for us so that we can satisfy the mayor's requirement of repairing the store. Maple also introduces us to the shopkeep journal, which allows us to store all of our recipes and be able to access things such as our rewards and our crafting points that we're able to level up skills as we complete more and more objectives and tasks. As we've had a long day, Maple does introduce us to where the bed is for the shop, which is a small back room, and we're going to be able to stay in here, and this will be our room. And this concludes day 1. The following morning, we wake up and go back into the main shop area where we are again discussing with Mayor and Maple about what it's going to take for us to stay here on Amber Isle. And the mayor is setting out parameters and objectives that we have to make. And we're introduced to our new friend, Addie, who is from Orb Corp, sent here on his own Paleoventure to discover on his own quest for self-discovery. The mayor charges Addie with helping your character to get the store ready so that it can sell and help raise money and revenue in a first step to revitalize Amber Isle. We meet Maple and Addie outside of the shop. Maple lets us know, in addition to being the town courier, she is also the town's cartographer. And Maple gives us our map. Meanwhile, Addie goes into how our journal works with quests and sets us out on our first quest, which is going to be to go and gather resources in Starfall Meadows so that we can craft. In Starfield Meadows, we go around and just collect as many resources as we can, and then go back into the town plaza, meet back up with Addie to go over more about crafting and setting up the shop basics. Addie goes over the inspiration system that allows you to advance your skill sets and then be able to use those skill points that you've earned to purchase and unlock recipes. Having selected a few new crafting recipes, we go back to Addie, who is now in front of our store, and we go through and select a name for our store. Returning inside the store, we meet up with Addie, who has us craft a few things and then teaches us the store mechanics to edit the store and then place your items that are available for sale. And then you have to set those prices, which is very important because if you do not set the prices, then you do not make a profit off of those items. I would have liked for the grid screen of the store to be scrollable, as the lowest row tends to be a little difficult to access. We apparently had a shopping day, but I missed it. So our first customer was Maple, who is bright and early there, ready to support us, which was fantastic. And Addie goes over additional information that can be found in the journal under the tab for the different Paleofolk, where you can see things such as the likes and dislikes so that you can know what objects to craft for certain characters. So I admire here how the dino tracks on the ground always lead us back to where our task objectives are, which now I am headed back to the back room to go to sleep for the day, ending day 2. So the next morning we go out and again meet Addie, who is announcing that we have a boat that has arrived in port. So we walk across the plaza to meet the ship's captain, whose name is Coral, and we discuss some of the prospects of getting new clientele arriving from the boat and from the ship. At this point, Addie realizes that we really don't have any tools, so he gives us 4 sets of tools. There is an axe, a pick, a shovel, and a scythe. With these new tools, we are able to go into Starfell Meadows and be able to clear a lot of the debris and materials that we were not able to access earlier because we needed tools. Now, this is one thing that I realized is that the running animation when you are outside is just jonky right now. It's fine when you're inside buildings such as your shop. So we rescue and find a Triceratops behind some bramble that we clear out and find out that she comes from a wood merchant family, and this becomes a new client who comes into our shop to purchase things. We return across Starfall Meadows back to our shop. We meet up with Addie, who goes over, encourages us to use our inspiration points to unlock new recipes, use those recipes to craft new items, and we set up our shop with items to sell and set their prices. And then with Nellie, we learn about how to do recommendations and the benefits of knowing what the clients like and versus dislike, and how that can benefit us in suggesting items for an upsell charge. We then head outside where we meet Addie, who goes over how to do community improvements through sending out donations of amber bits. And in this instance, we are creating an outdoor crafting table, which has the advantage of not having to go into our shop to utilize. So we can just stop by, craft, and then put into our storage and move on, and without having to actually go into the shop. We also meet up with Maple, who teaches us about how to do hanging out, which is where you can have multiple dinosaurs together and doing a similar task. Now, when I did this, Maple probably meant well, but her idea of hanging out was basically tagging along, or what I typically call supervising. And then I headed to bed, ending day 3. So day 4, we wake up, enter the shop, and of course meet Addie, who introduces us to the concept of ranking. This is where you can improve your shop with upgrades. Specifically, with this time we are doing wallpaper and floor, which I splurged a little bit, get a little bit nicer floor, but I did a wallpaper that I had access to. The mayor is still contentious and insists that we have to clean the shop that previously had dirt floors. He gives us a duster and a broom so that we can sweep and clean up the floor, and this will help us get tips, which can add to our amber bits that we earn every single day. In addition to that, we also learn about the art of haggling, where you can have an item for sale and someone who wants it will come to you and say, hey, I want this, but I want to pay a little bit less than that. And you come back and forth to settle on a price. Addie requests us to go outside to collect more resources. Now, on this way, he has us go all the way around, and if you look on the map, you can see that we're going all the way around and down. And ultimately, what he's doing is he brings us to the point where we can help to fix a bridge. This is a rope wooden bridge across looks like a waterfall, and we have to do the same donation of amber bits that we did before to get the outdoor crafting table. We do that again to repair the bridge. But we have to then collect 30 resources before we are able to actually cross the bridge, and then we are able to cross the new bridge. The rope bridge adds a shortcut to the meadow, so we can get in and get resources faster as a second route into the meadow. We return back to the store where we again meet Addie, who goes over how to add more shelving for sales items on the store. Now, this is one thing that I did have issues with, is that once I placed an item such as decor or anything, I was not able to move it, and I don't know if I just didn't know what I was doing or if that was just not in place yet. And then I run a evening shift of sales in my shop. Mabel comes in and does a haggle with purchasing an item, and then tells us that Addie told her to tell us that we received basically mail. She's the mail courier, and we now have access to our mailbox that is sitting right outside of the store. So we go to check the mailbox, and we have received a letter from Addie letting us know he's talking about permits and something about, well, we don't have the quite night permits yet, but we still can go out into the meadow if we want to at night. And so we head out there, and on our way out, we meet Coral, who is asking if we run into an ankylosaur. She is missing a passenger on her ship, and can we please let them know that she's holding the boat for them. So we go out into Skyfall Meadows, and we do locate the ankylosaur, and they are mining for ore or rocks, and they thank us and they depart. And then we head back to wrap up for the day, ending that particular day. At this point, once I wake up, I am really amazed at how much content is available in the demo. I was expecting this to be maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour length of demo. This is almost a full length game because there's so much content that you can go in and do. And I spent probably about 4 hours doing this. And I just kept expecting me to hit a roadblock and I wasn't hitting one. So I finally ended up having to make an end. But in here, I am having to, I realized that, the mayor did set that 20,000 amber bit goal, and that would help to prove that I was serious. And so I decided to at least see that because I was thinking maybe that was going to be the end of the demo. It's not. But I wanted to at least try to see what I could accomplish in the time that I had and how much could I access on the demo, which unfortunately does not have a save ability. Otherwise, you could just keep playing this over and over and treat this as a full game. So to meet the mayor's requirements, I am having just a few days of sales to make his goals. We needed to go speak with Addie, so we went over to the building that the dinosaur tracks led us to, and we went down the hall first, and what I suspect is the mayor's office, and then we went into Addie's room and had just a very wholesome conversation with Addie, where we really just affirmed that we are friends. And then I head to my shop, to my back room, and end the day. So starting out with the next day, I am determined to meet the 20,000 amber goal that the mayor set out. At this point, I am going to spend the next couple of days of just working on collecting resources, crafting, and selling in my shop. Another aspect that helped with raising additional funds was being able to go through and use my inspiration points to unlock additional recipes. Would allow me to craft more items at higher value, and trying to get as much money as possible to raise. And it is quite achievable to raise the money in a few days. It's just a matter of having enough to sell, and you can definitely do that with having and increasing the number of shelves that you have to display items for sale. So one thing that I did note was that I had trouble distinguishing between when I'm placing items for decor for ranking purposes versus placing items out. So I was never really sure which one I was doing. So I'm hoping that in future development that will be more cleared up. I would also like to see the opportunity to be able to flip between the placement of goods to sell on the shelves and setting their price, to be able to have a quick button that we can flip back and forth to, or maybe even having a sidebar so that we can just combine that all onto one screen rather than overcomplicating it with having it be like, okay, now we've got to set the items, now we have to set the price, and those are two different screens. I think it would just streamline the gameplay aspect of it in that manner. We meet back with Addie and Maple, who are going over that, yay, we finally reached the 20,000 amber that the mayor wanted us to get. And the mayor comes in and discusses that while he would love to give us the shop, there is a matter that the shop is technically owned by another corporation, and to fully outright own it, we have to pay them back in installments, and that comes to an amount of approximately 500,000 amber, which we can then work towards having. And once we pay installments, we will get upgrades to the shop, and that is our next large objective in the game. This is where I believe the end of the demo actually is, but you can continue to play past this. So there are a number of notable events that happen after as I continued playing. The first thing is that, and talking with Addie, we are opened up to where we not only get to decorate our own shop, but we get to decorate Starfell Meadows. We are introduced to a Dakota raptor named Harley, who opens up the possibility of what is it going to take to potentially move new dinosaurs new Paleofolk into Amber Isle. And for that, they want amenities, they want new options, new locations to move into. After discussing with Maple and Addie, we head over toward the forest biome, where we are tasked to unlock. It is going to cost us 1,000 inspiration points, at which point I decide maybe if I go into, I might already have it, which I do. I have like over 3,000 points that I'm able to collect, so thank you devs for not making it be an endless grind to get everything, all the points that we need. So I go over and I unlock all the inspiration points, I unlock the biome, and we're able to move in our very first resident with Nellie, who wishes to move her family's wood merchant operation to Amber Isle. So that will be a great boost for our local economy. But before we can move Nellie in, we need to be able to purchase some land for her. So that's going to cost about 1,000 amber bits. So I run over, do a quick couple of sales shifts in my shop. I raise the funds relatively easy and go in, purchase, and then try to find a space. Now, the trouble that I had was I hadn't cleared the forest. So if I had gone out and cleared the forest first, but because of the walking animation issue I was having, I didn't want to spend the time to do that. But that is how you would then move in the resident. And I tried to go out there and look at it, but either the path was blocked or I didn't have the right tool. And it was also approaching almost 4 hours of gameplay that I was having an absolute blast. And the demo does not save. So I knew that I was approaching how much more do I want to do in a demo versus waiting. I definitely got this wish listed and can't wait for this to come out. I am hoping that by the time it comes out, I have a better computer because the game audio was completely frazzled in my recording, which is a issue that I have with several games as I'm recording with a computer that's really just not optimized for screen recording. And finally, Addie approaches us and tells us that the mayor wants to see us. He is not happy. He is his irate, grumpy self as usual. And he's upset that we have opened up the forest biome, which he closed off the other biomes for good reason. And Maple points out, look, we've opened it up, but it's because we're getting residents. We're starting to be able to revitalize this. And the mayor contemplates that for a little bit and then decides, okay, if we're going to open this up, then it's going to be the three of your pet project. And we're going to do this, that y'all are responsible for this. And this is your doing. You're going to have to do this. And he basically says, I hope that you maintain this enthusiasm. And I know I, for one, am definitely looking forward to this. As I said, I've already wish listed this. I hope it comes out when I have a better computer to run this game, as this seems cute and just a fun little crafting game that feels open-ended. You're going to be able to have those contacts and make connections with different raptors and different dinosaurs. And I hope that I'm looking forward to see what the devs come up with. Links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day.